Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to our regularly scheduled 3-month delayed program here at Motion Auto. So today we're gonna be putting this thing in the car.
As you guys know, we were working on the Evo Wagon, and you could pretty much see how dirty and dusty it is because it's been sitting around the shop for like 3 months. This should have happened 3 months ago. This right here is our 2.3 liter stroker engine. It has GSC cams in it, has valve springs, retainers, valves, Wiseco pistons, Wiseco rods, 100mm factory crankshaft in it, 1mm over intake and exhaust valve. So this thing is gonna be a
Ripper.
Yep. Big ripper. Right here we have a 5-speed manual transmission out of the black car. We have the transfer case with the ACD on it because it is an Evo 9. Essentially right now we're just putting it the rest of the way together, putting the intake manifold on it, and then as soon as that's done and we have like the AC and some of those other brackets and bracketry on the actual engine, then we're actually gonna go ahead and stuff it inside of this thing today. That is the goal. In order to do that, we gotta get it off of the engine stand onto the ground. One of the main pieces of this puzzle is actually this center force clutch right here. This thing is probably one of the craziest clutches we could actually get for this thing. So it has an aluminum flywheel. This is a twin disc clutch setup, and this is the DYAD with ceramic race discs in it. It comes with this slave cylinder that this converts it to a push style clutch instead of a pull style clutch. So you can see the fingers actually go in instead of out. So they supply all this stuff with the kit. And this is pretty much the exact same clutch as that is in, or very similar to what is in my C6 Z06 Corvette that is actually stored down in Florida at Adams compound down there. And we did drift week in that thing, and literally the clutch just feels like factory, but like will hold basically like 1400 horsepower or torque. Yeah, got a little bit of stuff to do today. Huge shout out to Center Force. I actually kind of rushed them into doing this, and they like overnighted it. Basically built the clutch in like 2 days because we thought we were gonna put the stock engine, the good engine, but that one wasn't good. So then we got delayed. We started the super giveaway. We just got busy doing other stuff. We also have the whole shop situation. So the past like week and a half, we've been cleaning out the back of the shop, moving all of our other stuff, scrapping stuff, getting rid of a bunch of cars. And right now we actually do have some Evo Wagon shirts and the Evo shirts. This is probably one of my favorite Evo shirts that we've ever done, is this one. We have like 200 of these left on the shelf. So if you guys want to pick up some Evo merch, we have this, and then we also have this. Check out this shirt right there. Evo Wagon shirt. We're working on the Evo Wagon. We got an Evo Wagon shirt. We got that. Which one would you rather have?
Are my wheels the same as your wheels?
No. This one doesn't have wheels. That one just has. What shirt is it? That's the Rising Sun one. Oh. Yeah. That's my favorite shirt. That's my current favorite shirt. So. Yeah, so we're gonna put this thing together. Hey, is it gonna run today? No. Can we crank it today?
Probably won't run for another couple months.
Oh, geez, at this point. Alright guys, so this thing is a push style clutch. So we're installing this little slave cylinder right here. So this will actually convert it to a push style instead of a pull style, which will actually make
Dad, I didn't even see you.
Yeah, I was just hanging out. So pulling out all the little stuff on the inside, and then gonna bolt this thing, and then it actually has this little quick connect line right here. So if we ever need to pull it, we can just pull it probably.
Hopefully we don't.
I mean, yeah, but eventually, you know. Eventually we will, or we won't, or whatever. We'll figure it out probably.
What's the orientation here?
I don't know.
I almost feel like this homie wants to come out this homie.
It probably does, dude. We'll see.
Well,
maybe we'll look at the instructions. Sean made the executive decision as the shop foreman, right? To go ahead, bolt the transfer case up to the engine. How I did this in the past is I struggled, ratchet strap the transfer case in there. You, I think, take the intake manifold off and you put everything up from the bottom, and then you kind of like flop the transfer case in, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. And so you've pulled these subframes out of these Evos plenty of times.
Yeah, they seriously come out. It's literally 5 bolts and they come out. Like, yeah. Well, you know, we have coilovers for it anyways. We have brand new ones anyway, so that was a thing we're gonna have to take out regardless. So I said, you know, let's just make this easy on ourselves. Pull the whole subframe out. It literally comes out with 4 bolts if you have the struts and stuff out. Transfer case is already on the trans, bolted up. The intermediate shaft, or whatever you want to call it, the shaft that goes through the trans into the transfer case is on there. We don't have to take the intake manifold off that we just put on this morning.
And there's like a bunch of bolts and brackets and stuff behind
it's just
that,
a pain to do it that way. So the easy way to do it is to just pull the front subframe.
Well, it depends on who you are too. If you don't have a two post lift, it's not as easy to pull the
With what we
subframe.
have in our resources, it makes the most sense to do it this way. Now there's all this room in here. The motor, transmission, transfer case will all come up, bolt in, sit where it needs to, and the subframe will go up around it. So
May or may not take longer, but it'll save a lot of frustration. So gonna go ahead and get that bolted up, and you know, then this thing will actually look like a car probably.
yeah, then we can
Look like
drive it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got some new merch in there. All right, guys. So the boys got the engine installed in this thing, and it's looking good. It's actually lined up in there. It bolted in.
Yeah, we didn't know how it was going to sit because we had to replace that whole entire motor mount on the passenger side from the Evo. Had to like mold it in there, make it look nice. You couldn't even tell now, but we were just, we really have no measurements. So.
But it looks great. And so we had stock Lancer suspension. So if you guys seen this thing before sitting around the shop, it was just monster truck in the front, and it did not have an engine, so it was really high in the front. So now we have these BC Racing coilovers that are going on this thing. So as you guys know, we got BC Racing coilovers on pretty much anything around here that we care about. We got them on 2JZ, or what used to be the 2JZ S14. We got them on that car. We got them on the Civic. We got them on my other Supra. We have them on pretty much everything. So gonna go ahead and get the coilovers installed on the front. This one had some lowering springs right here on the factory, like Bilsteins. We will be swapping those out, but just for now, since we already had the subframe out of it, might as well just go ahead and throw these bad boys on the front. It's been a little while since we gave you a little update on the Evo Wagon. Obviously in this video, got a lot of stuff done, right? Tons of stuff. We got a lot of stuff done.
On this?
Yeah, well look at it, it's in there, it's in the engine bay. The wiring is hooked up, we need to hook up a couple little grounds. The fuel injectors are hooked up, the fuel lines, clutch that we need to hook up. Right now we are putting a stock turbo. So we have a 2.3 stroker with a bone stock Evo 9 turbo that we're installing on here. The reason we're doing that is because I got this turbo manifold right here. I forget even what brand it is. JMF manifold, and then this 3582. This was the turbo that used to be on the Civic. So Garrett 3582, it's a 1.06 AR hot side with a T3 flange. But the issue, we had this on there and all mocked up, but it was so tight, right where the downpipe comes out, pretty much exactly where this downpipe comes out. But the turbo, since it was so low, like the exhaust was right here. So we would have had to do like some crazy stuff for it to get it to work. And then right now, actually, what I had to do is the radiator was really, really tight and close to it. So I went ahead and ordered a Coyo half-size radiator. So once we get this turbo on and kind of running, try to figure this out or get a different manifold, because that one's kind of crazy. That's more suited for a car that doesn't have AC. If we didn't have AC, this thing would go on there and work out really well. We're gonna get the turbo on there. Pretty much we're just doing it. We're gonna call it break-in. We're gonna break in the engine on a stock Evo 9 turbo. The goal is by the end of this video, we're gonna get this thing started. Really, really stoked on how it looks in there. Gotta hook up the oil cooler. Once the oil cooler is on, and then we have the fuel lines and everything hooked up, then this thing should rip, right, Sean?
Hopefully. Yep. That's the plan.
Is it not in there?
Okay, there's the hole. It's in the hole, so give it the adjustment to where you want it to go. See, the thing about the dipstick though is it's not going to fill that oil cooler until you start it. What was that? Is the motor turning over? Yeah. We unplugged that crank sensor. Well, that one's not pumped up yet. That one's not pumped.
about to go.
Oh, you know what it is? It's the cam rotating because there's no oil pressure in the
VVT.
That's exactly what it is. It's the cam slapping because there's no oil pressure in there.
Do you see it happen?
Does that make sense? Yeah, that's exactly what it's doing.
Yeah, because
cam. Watch, that cam's gonna slap.
Yeah,
because this is not stationary.
Which one did it that time?
The cam won't move for a second. Watch.
Yeah.
Because there's no oil inside there.
So it just needs to start then. To build some.
That was scary.
Yeah. So we thought that was the. Thought that was a rod from the.
I thought it was a rod hitting the.
Buenos Notches didn't do a good.
I heard it on the top.
Well, we did a great job on it. I was scared of going through the oil passage, but it clears. Maybe not. So is there oil in the transmission? Something's whining like a bitch.
If you're fine with this one,
Go
unless
ahead.
you want your stuff.
Oh, the clutch feels great. Okay, so that was pretty much the first startup, or one of the first startup of our 2.3 liter stroker in the Evo Wagon. Getting to this point has not come without a lot of issues, and we're not over with that yet. So we did have to put on the stock turbo because the downpipe and everything, we would have had to made a really custom downpipe to get around the AC, and we really want to run AC in this thing with a full-size radiator. That manifold could probably work, maybe not work, so I ended up picking up a half-size coil radiator. So we were gonna put that over here, but we running into another issue with space in the front. So initially when we did everything here in the front, it seemed to us by our measurements and all the other stuff that these frame horns on the wagon were a little bit longer based upon the way everything kind of lined up right here. The subframe was not in here. This little cross member right here that holds the transmission up was not in here. We welded this thing on, made a huge mistake. We shouldn't have welded it on yet without like test fitting absolutely everything. Now this is actually about an inch, inch and a half further in than what it should be. And we actually kind of cut and drilled these, or we drilled the different holes in here to actually bolt this thing on right there. Whereas if we would have just bolted this thing on to begin with, we would have been able to just bolt that up. So it's pretty much, we'll just have to grind out these little plug welds right there and then scoot this forward, re-weld it. We should gain about another inch and a half. In the front, we'll have plenty of room for the radiator AC condenser. As of right now, it runs, and I'm really stoked about that. Really, really do want to do a nice big size turbo. That was 3582. That thing would be super rowdy on here, but I think it will be cool just to kind of get this thing driving on maybe this Evo 9 turbo for a little bit and then upgrade it in a little bit. Obviously stock injectors, stock ECU, all that stuff, but it does run. Need to get a battery kit, need to hook up the intercooler piping, and obviously we need to move all this stuff forward a little bit. It runs. It's so close to driving. We should be able to drive this thing hopefully this week, and I'm really, really, really freaking excited about that. So appreciate every single one of you guys watching. I know it has been a kind of long time coming for this video, the first start video, but there's been so much other stuff kind of going on with the giveaways and the 1 week 1 UZ 3 UZ swap. But I appreciate you guys sticking around. We'll be ripping this thing before you know it.